What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? Girls, guys. First of all, Love After Lockup will be up tomorrow. Okay. Hopefully this will be up tonight. I told y'all what it is will be up tomorrow yesterday. And it was actually up this morning. Only because when I was I gotta oh shoot. I gotta explain stuff. Only because I had to clean out my computer. I had to transfer to the external hard drive and all that stuff and make some space. That's just all that it was. So it took a minute. But anyway, moving on from that, we are here for to discuss. We're about to discuss his and hers, okay? Listen. I mentioned it in what it is, and I said I was gonna give y'all a day or two to watch it. It's only 6 episodes. Girl, what is that? Is that danger? Girl, I don't give a fuck. It's 6 episodes, okay? 6 episodes, like 46 to maybe a little bit to 50. The lowest was the last episode, which was 39 minutes. Quick watch, okay? Now, I am all the way here because I said I would love it for you guys to give me some suggestions for these little TV shows, whatever that's probably on a Netflix or a Prime or whatever. Doesn't have to be a multiple season thing. It could be a series. Limited series, just like this, just like All Her Fault and all that stuff or whatever. I love those, okay? The ones that are actually good. Because sometimes y'all tell me stuff and I be like, girl, this ain't even it, okay? But y'all 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2. Because the people said, look at All Her Fault, even though that could have been a little bit shorter, it still was good to me, it had a little bit of twists and turns in it that I didn't really see coming. And then when I saw it, I said, oh, that was cute. So now we have another one, his and hers, okay? No shade. I did figure out who the killer was, okay? This is a killer murder mystery thriller type of situation. I believe it's a book, right? Girl, I work at a library. Is it based off a book? Yeah. The 2020 adaptation by Alex Feeney. Baby, she got a whole bunch of books at my job too. So that means I got to start reading her stuff. Tell me now, is she a good author? Because I'm getting into reading. I'm 4 books down. I'm 4 books down, baby, and we still in January. I'm so proud of myself. Anyway, I told y'all I'm finna get back into the read. I said head first, okay? But yeah, girl, Alex, what's her name? Alice Feeney. Yeah, came out in 2020. So it's a murder, mystery, thriller, suspense, all of those. Okay. Now, when the episode starts off, girl, you got Tessa Thompson in this. You got Crystal Fox that played Hannah from The Has and the Have Nots. Playing her mama. Also, she played in Tyler Perry Fall for Grace. Ashtray, bitch. That whole situation. Okay. And I ain't seen her in shit after that. And if she was, so I couldn't even remember. And I'm so glad to see her back on the screen. Mad that she was still cleaning people's floors for white people. But okay, a job is a job these days, all right? And so, you got that going on. Who else was up in this? Dude that played Porn Stash on was it Orange is the New Black? He always be popping up at these shows. He played Richard the camera guy, okay? Oh my God, who else? If you see the dude that played Jack Harper, the husband, the detective, I should say, yeah, he be on a whole bunch of stuff too. He got a very distinct face. Never knew his name. Let me see what his name is. Oh, excuse me. His name is John Bernthal. Okay. And Richard name is Pablo Schreiber. Is he related to no, that's Shiver. Never mind. Anyway. Moving on. Okay. We get into the show, right? Like I said, 6 episodes. I believe it started off because they're down in I would say Georgia. Because they're going from um they're going from Atlanta to Delagne, bitch. Delilah. They going down to the D in Atlanta, right? I mean, in Georgia. I don't know how to say that now. I can't remember how to say it. It's been a couple of days. It's been a few days since I watched the show, right? But they in this small town up in Georgia, right? And this is where Tessa Thompson character is from. I think her name was Anne. She comes down, and we see that when the episode starts off, girl, bitch, I was like, oh my God, what's happening? It's water, it's raining, it's the woods, it's like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini out there in the road, and it's a whole bunch of trees and all of this stuff. And what do I see? We hearing all this stuff. I said, oh no, what's going on? What's going on? And then all of a sudden we get to zoom in, and we hear this gurgling. I said, oh shit, what's happening? It's a bitch on the goddamn car. On the trunk of the car, on the hood of the car, I should say. I said, oh my God, girl, get up. What's going on? It is raining outside. She said, and I said, oh, bitch, you can't talk. Oh, girl, who did that to you? Girl, they sliced and diced her ass up. And I said, damn, they got you laid prostate on that goddamn on that car. What you do? And the whole time I'm thinking, man, now I'm upset. Now I'm upset. You want to know why? Because instantly you started off like this. A woman has been hurt. We're in the middle of the woods. It's raining. She's on top of a car, and she's laying on her back. And it's looking very much like she was sexually assaulted and then murdered right in the midst of it. And I don't fuck with that shit, right? So I'm like, oh, bitch, we got to come and get this motherfucker who did this shit, right? Okay, cool. Then we get... in that same night, because it's raining, we get Tessa Thompson's character, and she's, is her name Texa? Yeah, Anna Andrews, okay? We get Anna up there, she looking very suspicious. And I said, girl, what you doing? She got a little hood on and all this stuff. She running. She's all anxious and everything. She gets up in her apartment. She's throwing stuff out. Instead of just putting it outside in the incinerator, she goes all the way outside. It's raining. Bitch, what is you doing? And then we see the bus in the alley. A bus that stops directly on this girl's photo that's a news anchor, and her name is Lexi Jones. I said, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And I figured that was going to play a part in it, something that we need to keep an eye on, because they made sure to put her whole face and for us to just focus on that for a few seconds, right? Okay, cool. So Anna a little fishy. I said, Anna, it's raining. You look a little shaky. You look like you dodgy. You look like you did something. Did you cut that girl up? Or did you see who did it? I said, girl, I hope the black girl didn't do it. No, girl. No, girl, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I said, we already started off like that. No. Okay, bitch. So, basically, you got that going on. And then, they trying to figure this whole out. Anna comes in to work. She's a newscaster, okay, like a journalist, a news reporter. She, I guess, was a popular news anchor at this particular TV show. Well, I could say like news station or whatever. And Lexi Jones wound up taking her position for the simple fact that Anna just left for a year. So what wound up happening with Anna child passed away, right? And so, she was in the moment of grieving, and she just left from the news station like for a whole year, and they didn't even know where she was, if she was coming back, where she was, what was going on from. Nobody had heard anything from her. And so in the midst of that time, they had to get somebody to replace her, and the person that they got to replace her was this white woman named Lexi Jones. And I said, you know what, on the one hand, damn. On the other hand, I can't even be mad at it, because you left. You literally left your position. You didn't tell anybody what was going on. Well, if you was leaving, why you, when you were coming back and all this stuff, and you just popped up. She pops up and your position is gone. Okay, so in order to get back on the team, she decides to become a field reporter to talk about this whole case, because it's now getting out that this woman has been found, right? They're trying to figure out who this woman is, okay, and what the situation is. That's when we get Jack Harper that comes in. He's detective, okay, and he's the one that comes on the scene with his new, partner, Priya. They call her Boston, okay? I'm going to assume that she's from Boston, and she's now down in Georgia, okay? All right, cool. And You know what I can't stand about some of these shows? Like, if y'all gonna do some stuff and you trying not to bring attention to yourself, but yet you bring so much attention to yourself. Cause I'm like, damn, I know if she's smart, like Priya smart as shit. And she didn't even gotta be smart to just see that you a little dodgy. Like, what are you trying to cover? You trying to cover up some stuff? Because that's what it felt like the whole time. And I'm like, oh, you so obvious that you hiding something. Now, I didn't know that he was hiding a whole bunch of shit that he was hiding. I said, well, shit, bitch, I'd be scared too. Well, maybe you should just go ahead and tell the truth about what's going on, because then you look suspicious too, okay? So we get this. He goes out there. He's staying at his sister's home. You know, at first I thought that was his girl, and I was like, what? Oh, okay. But no, that's his sister with her daughter or whatever. And so, you know, you go down there. He get called in. He goes to the crime scene and all that stuff. They trying to do all of, you know, see what's going on. And Anna winds up coming up to the crime scene, okay? And with a whole bunch of other reporters. And so they trying to ask what's going on. They not getting no questions or no answers and all this stuff. And then when because they not ready for all of that, they literally just got out there. They trying to figure the shit out too. And he knows who it was. It's this girl named Rachel, right? And so therefore, it's the girl named Rachel. Is her name Rachel? Yeah. The fuck was that? Girl, don't be making no fucking noise up in this bitch while I'm out here by myself. I'm paranoid as hell. Okay, yeah, Miss Rachel. Okay, Rachel was the one that was sparred out on that goddamn car, right? So when Jack said, you know, just give us a minute or whatever, we still trying to process stuff. Jack really just want to talk to the husband, okay? You know, notify the family first before we put this shit up in the news or whatever. And so before he can even do that, he turned and he walked away. Anna popped out and said, so weren't you with the woman, or didn't you know this woman or whatever that got murdered or some shit like that? I said, God damn, bitch, wait a minute. Jack turned around like, ain't this some shit? And I'm like, oh, so y'all know each other, because the way that he looked at her like, and she was looking like, get you, gotcha, bitch. And I was just like, oh, what's going on? What's going on with this right here, right now? And you know what? She's getting all the scoops, and I'm sitting here like, Anna, that don't make you look innocent either. That put a little bit of suspicion on you too, because none of this information has gotten out. That was like, isn't it true that you know the victim and all this stuff or whatever? Bitch, excuse me, how do you know that he know the victim, and how do you know who the victim is? Okay, none of that information got out. You just got on the scene. So what is it that you not telling us? Okay, did you do this? Girl, I'm sitting here like, what's up? You know, she go back to the job and all this stuff, and she wanted the cameraman Richard Jones, and she specifically asked for him, and he was the one doing the interviews and, you know, being her cameraman and all that stuff or whatever. Cool. Girl, they was up there fucking in her goddamn hotel room. I said, well, hold on. Now, see, that wouldn't mean nothing if it wasn't for the fact that not only is he married to the lead anchor who took Anna's job, Lexi. I said, what? So to get back at the girl for taking your spot, you fuck her man? And not only that, we found out Detective Jack Harper is her husband. Not her ex, not her soon-to-be ex, her actual husband. I said, excuse me, what the fuck is going 6 degrees of separate goddamn ration? What is happening? What is going on, bitch? I said, now, hold on. I thought that was an ex-boyfriend or some shit that we fucked around back in the day. No, that is your current husband. Okay? So that's your baby daddy. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. What happened? You know? They had a little contentious relationship, and I understood exactly, you know, after we found out what exactly happened with her daughter, because they did have a child. They had a child, they had a baby girl named Charlotte Alice Harper, and Alice is her mother's name too. So that was really cute. But so we got that going on. I will say, her job get cool points for me, because that lady just left. You leaving, and then you was able to come back after a year without having no contact, and he still let you stay, even if it was somewhat of a demotion because, you know, and basically earn your spot back and didn't just write you off or whatever. I was like, whoa, that's cool, because especially with minorities, they would have said, fuck that shit, bitch, you gone, And he said, no, you can come on back. Okay. And it was like he don't want to play favoritism, but try to make it seem like she got to get her spot back, earn her spot back. So she's doing these field reports and all this stuff while fucking that lady husband and all that. And I said, damn, bitch, is it really that deep? Hell yeah. Girl, I'm not finna go through each and every goddamn moment. You gotta watch this, okay? Now let's talk about the kid, Jack and Anna married, okay? Anna, Zoe, that's Zoe is Jack's sister. They always, in a crew, right? Zoe was once friends with Anna at one point, right? Okay, cool. Jack and Anna gets married. They have a baby. The baby wasn't really feeling well one night. Out there, they was about to have a little date night. Anna wanted to stay, and he was like, no, it's okay. This is normal, whatever. And you got the mama Alice who was gonna watch her. Next thing you know, they get a call because Alice had to call 911 because I guess the baby stopped breathing. It was like baby crib death. The baby wound up dying in the crib, just suddenly dying and all that stuff, and that just sent Anna over the edge and filled with grief. And I will say this: I don't think Tessa Thompson has any kids, but the way, because Tessa Thompson is a really good actress, okay, a really good actress, right? The way that she evoked all of that emotion when they did that flashback to her holding the baby after finding out that her baby died, and the way that she just broke down crying holding that baby. Oh my God, you would have swore that she had a baby for real and she had went through that and she was just like, as a mother, this is the emotions that I feel. No, that lady ain't got no kids from what I know or from what I think. But she put that out there and I'm sitting here like this. Because ain't no mother should have to go through that. Like, why did the baby have to die like that? Yeah, bitch, I lead too. I would not. Oh my God. For the mothers and the families, and I should say the parents, okay, who had to deal with the death of a young child and a baby especially. Girl, that'll tear me up. And for the ones that's able to have a kid afterwards, oh, the emotions and the guilt and the what ifs and the whys and the, oh my God, you will see why motherfuckers be going crazy. Speaking of, I gotta watch, there's a new 3-part docuseries, I believe, on HBO Max about the dude that Andrea Yates was following. And I said, oh, this is what I want to see. Because, Andrea Yates didn't get a fair shake. Because if this would have happened, if she would have did what she did to her kids, probably like in the mid 2000s or some shit like that, even in the 2010s and all that or whatever, she wouldn't have got judged so harshly. And this was, I think it was like at the end of 1990s or whatever, the mid 1990s, whatever, because mama had postpartum. She was going through psychosis. She was going through I think she had like either schizophrenia, bipolarism or some shit like that. She had some mental health issues that was going on and she was on medication and she should not have been having them kids. And I blame the husband as well because, bitch, why would you keep on letting her have the kids? Okay, even if she said, this is what we supposed to do, you could say no. You could say no. Each and every time she have a kid, she going on. Girl, what? Like, come on. Like, are you serious? And then the way that the public treated her, oh my God, I understand that she killed them kids, but she wasn't in the right frame of mind. Mentally, she was fucked up. Oh, I gotta watch it. That case really incensed me every single time as an adult, because I remember when it happened because I was a child. But now that I'm an adult, oh my God. I just get so upset when I listen or I read anything about it Cause bitch, girl, I understand. I mean, you know you ain't want to do that to them kids, but bitch, and you know, mentally she was fucked up. She shouldn't have had them. Anyway, so yeah, mama went off, you know, postpartum and all that shit. Shout out to the parents that lost a child. I pray y'all, you know, make it through. You know, y'all be thinking I be heartless sometimes. I be sensitive. You know what I'm saying? I can feel emotions and I can feel where y'all coming from a little bit. I be sad too. But yeah, girl, I said, oh, that is sad. Bitch, I would have left too, okay? And then speaking of her mama, you know, Jack was watching her mama. So Jack and her mama, Alice, was real close for the most part because each and every time apparently she was having these episodes. I said, oh my God. So Anna got a little that bitch. What's going on with the mama? Cause in the span of a year, mama mind and went. Mama mind and went. She was very strong in the mind to the point where you was letting her watch a kid and everything. And, you know, she mentally was there. The baby died. And I said, oh, shit. The baby died in your presence while you was watching her. And so therefore you probably blame yourself and you just locked yourself in and mentally just wasn't there no more. You should start mentally deteriorating to the point where all of a sudden there's random moments where she walking in the middle of the night, bucket ass nigga. I said, Hannah, put some goddamn clothes on. Crystal Fox, what you doing? I said, what's going on? You got a little dementia. You got a little dementia going or a little Alzheimer's. Bitch, where? I said, Anna, get your ass in the house. It's raining. Okay, like, come on. We don't do that. We don't do that. And she said, yes, the fuck we do, because I don't know what I did. And I said, Now, the first time that they brought that up, and Jack had to go get her, we didn't see that. But then we saw another incident. They told us about the first one because they had to tell Anna when she finally came back there. Because Anna was staying out there in Atlanta, okay? She wasn't in the town where she was at. You know, she drove like 4 hours or some shit to go back to the little town and do all of this stuff. Okay, cool. And her news station was out there in Atlanta. So they're still in Georgia, but it's just a smaller town. Okay, cool. And so I'm like, oh, girl, you weren't keeping up with your mama either. So you really was going through it. And your mama was going through it too. Jack up there taking care of your mama and you know, keeping her out of jail and all that stuff. And out of putting her in a little institute so that, you know, they trying to see what's going on with Miss Lady. And I was like, oh no, mama really mine is gone. And then when the second time happened, and then all of a sudden somebody else got killed, I said, the mama did it. Bitch, by the middle of the third episode, I said, did Alice do that? Is she faking the funk and using her mental status as a reason to be like, well, bitch, I had these blackouts. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So maybe I'm the one that did the shit. I don't know. Okay? I said, Alex had to do that. And then by the end of episode 4, I said, well, maybe not. No, by episode 5, I was like, well, maybe not. I got it wrong. What I liked about this show, though, because they were giving... You got Tessa Thompson character, like I said, Anna. Anna was acting and moving very suspiciously in the sense that she wanted to get her job back, right? Probably to give her purpose and to show that she still had it. But also once she came back to the news station and she saw that Lexi was the new anchor, you know, and her face is everywhere. It came more so about one-upping Lexi, you know, trying to get her back. So I was sitting there like, it never occurred to me that there could possibly, you know, be some beef between them. I'm like, you don't know her. And you can't really be upset at her for taking your job, quote unquote, when you basically left them stranded because you was going through your shit and you just left and they didn't even know if you was coming back ever. So they had to do what they had to do, right? And so you had to get that. And then it's like you trying to get back at later on when we found out some more stuff. It's like, oh, you trying to get back at your husband. That's what I figured was going on too. And how did I figure that? Because, you know, when they was going through this whole situation with Rachel, after finding her body and finding that she was stabbed over 40 times, they found semen in her body too, and a whole lot of it, right? Come to find out, Rachel was fucking Jack. And she had fucked him that night. So the semen would have been his. The semen would have been his. Okay? And so what we also finds out is that particular night where she came back finally to, and I believe this was right where the she came Anna came back to the town probably for the first time, and she wound up walking out there in that wooded area, and I believe that's probably where the cemetery was or whatever, so that's probably why she was out there where they were in the woods. So it was like probably connected to some way somehow. She was just walking, but it was raining, and she wound up seeing Jack's truck, and she wound up seeing Rachel's car, and she wound up seeing them in Jack's truck banging the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, Anna and Jack are very much still married, but at the same time, I feel as though it's iffy because Jack winds up revealing to us that Anna and Rachel were friends at one point. So shouldn't you feel bad about the fact that, or aren't you concerned or whatever about what happened to her and all this stuff? Anna didn't really give a damn. She just wanted the story, and she probably wanted to get back at his ass and get back at Lacey for taking her job, okay? And I said, oh shit, bitch, what's going on with that? And then once we found out that Anna and Rachel was once friends or whatever, I said, oh, so you's dirty, nigga. Now see, I was about to make a slight exception. Slightly, because sometimes I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, truth be told, you got this situation going on with Christy and Desmond Scott. Those motherfuckers been together since they was 14 years old. Girl, they probably the only persons that they was fucking around with until Desmond started fucking around with somebody else. Like, on the one hand, it's like, damn, you just broke your marriage vows. But on the other hand, I be thinking like, well, shit, a motherfucker been with the same person since they was 14 and you ain't been doing nothing else? Give him a pass. Okay? I'm sorry. I think like that sometimes. Because, like, bitch, the same person, you ain't explored, you don't know nothing else that you like, and you since you was girl. But then you get this situation with Jack. You know, your wife just went through something and she left your ass. You just lost your baby too. We didn't think about how he was feeling as well, and it's making me mad. Well, it's making me, I ain't gonna say make me mad, but it's making me feel some type of way that I gotta sympathize with him a little bit. Because, you know, we have to remember Anna wasn't the only one that was hurt up in this situation, because Anna wasn't the only one that lost a child. Jack lost a child as well, okay? And you just up and left. You just up and left, and he was trying to get in contact with you, and then it was almost a year or over a year or whatever that you was gone. And I said, you know what? Well, that I probably would have thought that, you know, would you have sat around and just waited and not did nothing with anybody? Now, if he would have wound up cheating on her, if you want to, technically that is cheating because they still married. If he would have wound up and got his rocks off with somebody else because it's almost a year or it's been a year and you don't know what's going on, you haven't heard from her, and, you know, you're stuck in limbo, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But see, the issue comes in the fact that this person is somebody that she knew. This person was once a friend of hers. And if that means once a friend, that means something happened that they fell out or whatever, whether it was mutual, whatever, amicable or whatever, you don't touch that. But you knew that they were friends and you still fucked around with her. And I said, Jack, for that reason, you ain't shit. Okay, I can't give you no exception. You know, you're not shit. That's how you grieve with her ex-friend. Her ex-friend, you know. Mind you, she was married to this man, Duffy. And this is what, again, this is what really made me like the show. Because when the show first comes on, you're thinking that it could be Anna. As the show progresses, I'm thinking that it could be Jack. Okay, we found out Anna was throwing away a whole bunch of shit. Anna was out there when all of this happened and she saw them having sex. Anna is just popping up at the crime scene. She knows exactly who did who was murdered before anybody else. She's trying to take control of it. She's trying to get up into Jack's head and all this stuff. And it just felt like, okay. Then you got Jack. We found out that Jack was fucking with this girl. All right. Literally was the last person that seen her before she died. Okay. We got his footprints. We got all of this stuff. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, cool. He's looking very suspicious in the way that he's moving and all of that. They couldn't find her phone. Come to find out, her phone was in Jack's car. And then they found the phone And he went to the morgue trying to say that he lost his wedding ring that he has not been wearing, just to open up that thing and get that lady to with the face. I said, you motherfucker. So that he could delete all those messages of them having any conversation with each other and all of that stuff, and then find out that she was blackmailing him, blackmailing somebody, right? Her and a friend, Helen. Okay, cool. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Jack, you moving real sneaky like, bitch, did you do this? Okay. So now it's like, Anna, did you do it? Jack, did you do it? Then we get to the husband who said that he was walking the dog around that time. And then when they wanted the clothes and all that stuff, he had already washed the clothes, had it folded up neatly like we was up in prison or some shit, and was waiting for them to get it. I said, what the fuck? And then they told him, stop calling the phone because you're going to run down the battery, because they trying to find where the phone at, and he kept on calling the phone regardless. And he was on the phone talking to some girl named Helen, okay, talking about did this. And I was like, oh my God, Duffy, bitch, did you do this? Now, I know you said you got heart disease, you got this, you got that, you can't really move. Y'all got this arrangement. They had this arrangement where, because of his little health problems that he had going on, and because he was an older man, Rachel can get out there and fuck whoever it is that she wanted to fuck, just not in their city, just not somebody that they knew, and just not where they live at. You know what I'm saying? So she violated that because it was somebody that they lived with, and that was Jack. You know what I'm saying? It's in their city, and people know them, right? Okay, cool. So now I'm thinking like, damn, Duffy could have did it. Okay, Duffy could have did it. Meanwhile, we move on from that, and Richard, we did see that Jack was trying to follow some information up on Richard and all that stuff, whatever, because he a little jealous. He seen his wife with his with this person, and I was like, well, you fuck Rachel, so why you worried about who she fucking? All right, so y'all both cheating on each other, y'all both ain't shit for each other right now, okay? And so we see this one particular scene where he did confront or see Richard, and they was in a hardware store, and he's getting some plastic, some the ties, what is it? The plastic ties or whatever. And it gave very much a murder kit. That's what it was looking like, a drill and all that stuff. And I was like, what you doing? And that comes into handy at the end of the last end of episode 5, beginning of episode 6, right? Now I was like, oh, what's happening? All right. But then I'm thinking like, they tried to throw Richard in there, could possibly be doing this stuff, but I never thought that it was him. I never thought that was him. Even when it came out that they was trying to blame who they was trying to blame later, that I'm saying, I was like, nah, I don't think he had nothing to do with it. I really think that he was like really just in the blue about it, or I say in the dark about it, right? And so then after that, I start to think that, this girl Helen probably had something to do with it, because she was just real shady to Anna, and maybe it was a blackmail plot or whatever that went wrong that they kept on talking about in the text messages and all that shit. Girl, we found out Duffy was into some freaky shit. Okay? Duffy was into some freaky shit, bitch, ball gags, and I said, oh, you's a kinky motherfucker. Bitch, I'm into a lot of stuff. That's the one I can't get to. Girl, I ain't got time for all of that. That don't excite me. That makes me go, yeah, okay. But anyway, yeah, I was like, oh, so who fucking did it at this point? And while they're still trying to find out who did this stuff with Rachel, and we're just finding out that Rachel was a fucking terrible person. She been a terrible person since the very fucking beginning. Okay. Then we find out that the headmistress at the school that Anna went to, Rachel went to, and the headmistress went to, they were all friends, and Zoe, who is Jack's sister, they were all a crew at the school, and now Helen, she's the headmistress at this school. This is like a little private all-girls school or whatever. Okay, cool. And I guess Anna fell out with all of their asses, okay? And I was like, oh, bitch, why y'all do that? What's going on? What's the problem? What's the T? What's the 411? Because when Anna family came up there and seen Helen, and they was having they little back and forth with each other, and I said, oh my God, why are you talking like that to each other? Okay, this don't make no sense. But then when Helen said something about her dead baby, I said, I said, is your daddy white? Anna, is your daddy white? Or do you got two black parents? Because I don't give a fuck if we in the middle of an investigation or whatever the fuck is going on. That was your moment to get your ass up and to pop the fuck out that bitch. Okay? That was your moment. But then I understand, that they probably would have made her a suspect. Which she became a suspect in the first anyway. Because next thing you know, Jack was trying to get in contact with Helen for some because he was trying to figure out who the fuck they was trying to blackmail. He was trying to figure, because he know that she knows that he was fucking around with with Rachel, and didn't want that shit to come out or whatever, because if that comes out, it's gonna be shit for him, because not only did you know the suspect, you could possibly have killed the suspect, and you are on the case, and so now it's look like you're covering up stuff, and it's just crookedness, and you could lose your job and all this shit going under investigation, all that stuff, right? And I said, bitch, just come out and say that you seen this and you need to be removed. That's all that you need to do. Okay, if you get a little bit of a suspension or a little bit of demotion, let that happen. You'll still have your job instead of going through all this bullshit. Girl, before he can even talk to that lady, baby, they get word that the bitch got killed. And the damn school. And see, now when that happened, I was like, well, no, it can't be the mama, because why would she go to the school and kill Helen? I said, well, let me take that back. All right, I'm gonna take that back. Imagine, I think this was in episode 3 too. Like, this was at the this was at the beginning of episode 3, but then by the middle, that's when I said, oh well, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe I had it wrong. Okay, maybe I had it wrong. Somebody else had to do it. And then, Anna trying to get more, get her, the newscaster, the news channel trying to get more eyes on them. And they've been following this story. Anna want to do this town hall with the people at the town and talk about it and all that stuff. And, Lexi want to one up and have a 101 with Duffy, the husband, right? And so she does this because she figures that Richard, her husband, is fucking around with Anna, or at least Anna is trying to fuck her husband. And I said, yeah, girl, go ahead and mark your territory and claim what's yours, I guess. Let him know. Let her know. I mean, I don't know. Do you really care? But moving on from that. Fuck all that other shit. Let's talk about this friend group. I'm just finna wrap this shit up because, girl, bitch, this is where I started getting pissed, okay? Because throughout the show, we kept on seeing flashbacks of Anna when she was younger, and when she, her little history, and how she became cool with Rachel and Helen and what's the girl name? Somebody texted me. Rachel, Helen, and Zoe. What's Jack's sister, right? And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, so the way that they all become to know each other, Anna's mama used to do housework for basically all they mama. That one scene when Lexi Catherine ass threw that fucking candy bar wrapper on the floor right in front of Miss Alice as she was cleaning. Oh, bitch, I would have knocked her ass out. Get your... I was about to call her F word. I feel like fat people can talk about fat people. I was about to say, get your big ass up and get that up, bitch. We just talked about fat phobia and all that shit. I can't be doing it. Okay, I can't be. But, bitch, that really pissed me off. I said the disrespect. The fucking disrespect. The classism. It felt racist. It felt all of that shit, right? I said, And then I guess Miss Alice had worked her fingers to the bone and was able to get her daughter up into this school, right? It was a private school, and that's where Rachel was at, Zoe, Helen, and even little Catherine, right? Now, see, Catherine, I felt so bad for her at first. Okay? Because what had happened was, you know, because Alex used to clean house or whatever for Rachel, and when, they was trying to make it seem like, oh, well, you can show her around and all that stuff. So Rachel, I guess, kind of took her in, and they was like, how you know her? It was like, oh, yeah, her mom cleans house for me. Bitch, you didn't have to put that out there like that, okay? Like, it felt like from the jump, Rachel was trying to embarrass and play Anna, you know what I'm saying? And I just did not like the vibe that I was getting, and she proved me right. Later on, we see them all at the table at lunch or whatever. It was Zoe, Hannah, Helen, and Anna, right? They kicking it at lunch, and then they said Rachel looking over there, and they see Catherine. Catherine, she's a bigger girl. She chunky, got a little bit of acne or whatever. Mind her goddamn business, bitch. She ain't doing nothing. She eating her little snowballs and she reading a book. And so decided to tell Anna to make her come over there and sit with them, also that she can go and get some Diet Coke or whatever, either Coca-Cola or some shit. Went into the bathroom, pissed in it, and didn't tell her that she pissed in it. Catherine went on ahead, sat down at the table, and they was talking a little bit. She a little shy because, y'all kind of like the cool kids, and what am I doing sitting over here with you guys? What's going on? Rachel wound up accidentally, quote unquote, knocking Catherine's drink down. And so she was like, oh no, she spilled her drink. She said, oh, you can have this one. And she was like, no, I'm good. And she was like, no, go ahead and drink it. She was like, no, I'm good. She was like, go ahead and drink it. And I said, Catherine, get your ass up. Get your ass up. Girl, Catherine went on ahead and drank that. And she was like, oh my God, it tastes funny. She was like, Rachel said, it tastes funny because you're drinking my piss. And I said, bitch, at that moment in time, I would have threw that shit in her face, and I would have threw that cup in her, and I would have jumped over that table, and I would have sat on her ass, and I would have bing, 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 bing. See, Catherine, that's the time when you use your weight. Okay? That's the time when your weight come into handy, when you beat these little bitches' ass, okay? That's what you should have used it for. Fling that shit around, bitch. Oh, I want to be a fat bitch? You want to make fun of me? Let me whoop your ass. Let this fat bitch whoop your ass, okay? Let this fat bitch sit on you, all right? That's what you should have did. Caused her bodily harm because she caused you bodily harm by putting her bodily fluids in you, bitch. That's assault. That's assault, okay? And then later, she's gonna quote unquote make up with the girl. And I was like, oh, okay, because when we saw later on, Anna was sitting there and she really wasn't here for what was going on. But Anna didn't say nothing. And I was like, oh my God, Anna, you're one of those. You're one of those. I'm not trying to rock the boat, but I don't like what's going on. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Later, when we get to adult age, Zoe was trying to tell Jack, oh, Anna not who you think she is. The reason why we fell out is because what happened at Anna's 16th birthday. Now, at one point, we saw Anna go into her old bedroom and she pulled out this video recorder and was playing back the tape that was on there. And it was her at the 16th birthday. And then we get a flashback of everybody showing up, and we see Catherine show up, and Catherine looked real nice and all of that stuff, whatever. Everybody was having a good time. And then she abruptly, once they get to the woods, she abruptly closed it up and she was crying. I was like, oh, you miss Rachel? And that wasn't the point. That wasn't it, bitch. Okay. So then we get to, I said, Zoe, what you talking about? What you talking about? Anna ain't who you think she is. I was like, what's going on? And before he could say anything, he had to leave, right? Okay, cool. Because at this point, they already thinking that it's a serial killer going on. And they realizing that this friend group, because it was Priya that found out the fact that all of them was fucking friends, because she was like, first of all, Rachel got killed. It was a friendship bracelet that was stuffed down her throat. Helen got killed. It was another friendship bracelet. You look at their old pictures and it's a friendship bracelet that they all shared together, right? All of them had it. Anna, everybody, okay? And then at this point, Zoe was scared that she might be next or whatever, and come to fuck to find out she was next. And I said, damn, she got a kid. Girl, she took a couple of gummies, had a drink, went and took a bath, never came out that bathroom because somebody walked up those steps and cut her up in that tub, okay? And I said, fuck, that's crazy, But we go back to the whole story with Anna when they was kids and it was her 16th birthday. Anna, you knew that you didn't need to be friends with these bitches, especially Rachel, because she was the ringleader. Okay? And it's like being a fucking mean girl times 1,000. Because I don't understand what will possess you to want to do something like this to people that didn't do anything to you. I can see if harm was done to you by said person, but it wasn't. You were just being straight up fucking evil. And once I found this shit out and they showed us what went down on that girl's 16th birthday, I said, well, shit, fuck it, bitch. I don't give a fuck what happened to her. That's what she did. Okay? Because truth be told, they should have did it earlier than that. The bitch should have been in jail. All of them should have went to fuck the jail. Okay? Now, why the fuck y'all didn't... bitch! Bitch. Okay, this what happened, right? So they have the little birthday, okay? They all go over there to Anna house, right? Next thing you know, they up in the woods where they having a little hangout, forcing her to drink, they dancing and all this stuff. Rachel trying to get them drunk and all this shit or whatever. Okay, cool. Next thing you know, and I'm talking about Anna and Catherine, okay? Next thing you know, these grown ass men come out the woods, right? And I'm like, who the fuck is these? These ain't no teenagers. These got to be at least 20 something. These girls are 16. Okay, at least one of them just turned 16. What is going on? They're underage. What's happening? And Rachel was like, oh my God, these my friends. And I was like, Rachel, you out here tricking? What's going on with you? What's happening in your home life? Like, I don't get it, bitch. What's happening? What's going on? Girl, they up there dancing and all this stuff and whatever. Next thing you know, we see Rachel giving them some Polaroid pictures of Catherine. Okay? And I was like, what? Next thing you know, they go over there to Catherine, push her over on the mattress that's on the floor. And I said, oh my fucking God, y'all are not about to do what I think y'all about to do. Y'all are not about to do that to her. Y'all are not about to do that to her. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. And I got instantly pissed right then. I said, damn, they did that to Catherine. That's so fucked up. That's what they was alluding to throughout the whole show. Until the very, I believe probably like episode 5. That's when they told us exactly what the fuck happened. It wasn't, nope, episode 6. It wasn't Catherine that got taken advantage of. It was actually Anna. Earlier they had showed, and Zoe was talking about how Rachel, you know, she goes both ways, and because of the possibility that she probably had a thing for Anna. And then they showed when they were younger, right, like around her 16th birthday, right before, Anna was in a room with Rachel, and you know, she was like, oh my God, look what I got you, whatever. I got you this push-up bra. She said, go ahead and put it on. And she was like, girl, don't worry about it. Just put it on. It's just me. And she wound up putting it on, and the girl started taking pictures of her in her bra. She was sending those pictures to those men. She was sending the pictures of Catherine to those men. So when it was their 16th birthday and those men came over there and they attacked Catherine, Catherine some way somehow got out because Tess, or I should say Anna, you know, helped her get out of it. And they wound up turning on her, putting her down on that bed. Catherine runs away. She sees what happened. And she said, fuck this. And she runs. Did she try to help? I think Anna helped her get out of that. Did she try to help? No, she just ran away and said, fuck this. Or fuck you and all this or whatever. And she just ran. Mind you, Anna was recording the whole night. So when all this stuff started with Catherine, she put the camera down and it was still facing Catherine in the bed at the men. And it was still recording. Okay? It was recording. Her rape was recorded. Clearly. Because it was right focusing on it. Helen, Lexi, or I should say not Lexi. That's Helen, Zoe, and what the other girl name was? Bitch, I thought it was, yeah, it was 3 of their asses. Lexi, Helen, Rachel. They sitting on the goddamn couch watching, enjoying it. And I said, what the fuck is going on? How are you okay with that? Why would you do that? And then, that part turned my stomach so bad. That enraged and incensed me so bad. And once we found out who the killer was, I said, I'm on your side. Now, bitch, I was on your side from the very beginning. Whoever the fuck did it, as long as it wasn't a sexual assault type of situation and you killed her afterward, no, I wasn't going to be here for that. But once I found out exactly what it was, I said, bitch, I was on your side from the jump. I was on your side. And once I figured it out, I said, bitch, I was on your side. It is deserved. It was deserved. Okay, it was deserved. And my thing of it is, Rachel, Helen, and Zoe should have been in jail. They should have been in jail. Zoe turned out to be a fucking alcoholic. Okay, anyway. But, and Rachel turned out to be a whore. Okay. And Helen turned out to still be a stuck-up bitch like she was. But they deserve to be in jail. Because why would you set them up like that? Why would you set them up like that and have the nerve to sit there and fucking watch? And mind you, why didn't she return? So what I'm assuming Anna did not tell anybody about it. Anna had the evidence. She had the proof. She could have turned it in to the police and had their asses arrested. But she didn't do that. And that's when they stopped being friends. Okay? And I was like, that's fucked up. That's beyond fucked up. Okay? And so for Helen to have the attitude that she had towards Anna that whole time, especially when she came up there to see her at the school, bitch, I was like, oh, no, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to have no attitude with her after what you did to her. She deserved to beat your ass every goddamn time she see you, you know? Because that was disgusting. That was so fucked up. How can you be so goddamn cruel? This is a thing about bullying. I don't understand. Why are we befriending people, quote unquote, just to hurt them? Like, what's going on in your life that you're taking time out to get people to like you only to hurt them? You don't really like them, but you just want to hurt them. What? It ain't done nothing to you. Catherine didn't do nothing to you. Anna didn't do nothing to you. The only thing that was wrong with Catherine, I guess, was because she was overweight. The only thing that was wrong with Anna, she didn't come from money. Okay, well, leave her the fuck alone. Leave them alone and go and do what y'all gotta do. Like, I just didn't understand that whole shit. That mean girl shit, that was beyond mean girl shit, bitch. That shit pissed me off. I got a little change. Thank God. Coming up a little short. But, yeah, girl, I was just like, that's so fucked up. That really pissed me off, y'all. And then, you know, when Zoe got killed, what's the girl, Boston, aka Priya, aka Boston, she was figuring shit out. She was figuring out that she eventually figured out that Jack had something to do with it some way, somehow. And Jack was trying to tell her, no, bitch, it wasn't me. My sister just got killed and all of this stuff. He had to knock her ass out because at one point, Richard had got Anna to come out there to a cabin in the woods and said that Lexi wanted to talk to her. Okay, and I said, what? Now, Priya was doing some looking up of Catherine because she was trying to look up of all the friends in that group. We saw Helen. We saw Zoe. Now that we know that Zoe is gone, but before that we know about Rachel. But there was Catherine. So now we're trying to figure out where the fuck Catherine is at. She Googled Catherine, all this stuff. Finds out Catherine had a sister named Andrea who wound up dying. She had an asthma attack on a sailboat. Okay, cool. And, you know, she just changed after that. All right. Interesting. So then what we find out, because Anna goes to the cabin, and again, I told y'all, Richard had went to the hardware store and was getting some shit, zip ties. That's what it's called. Was getting zip ties and all that shit, and it was looking like a fucking murder kit. He had that shit laid out on the goddamn table at that cabin, right? Mind you, we are in the cabin in the wood where there's no reception. Because Anna said, why the fuck am I out here? You know? Why the fuck am I out here? Mind you, Anna just got through fucking Jack. Because they had a come to Jesus moment, okay? They actually finally talked to each other. Had a moment where they broke down to each other about their baby, about everything that happened, fucked in the car and all of that. And I said, I'm testing you like a white man, huh? Anyway, I was like, damn, I'm glad they ain't getting no black men caught up in all this shit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because he wouldn't have stood a chance, bitch. They would have shot his ass. But no, yeah, girl. Had him up in there. I said, I know you not about to be up in here doing all this stuff. You about to kill her. Y'all was doing this, girl. The way that Richard was talking, I said, well, hold on, bitch. Now I'm thinking that it's Anna's mama that did all of this shit. Richard is talking now. I'm thinking like, oh, fuck me. Richard and Lexi was the one that was doing this, and mostly Lexi. And I said, well, that don't make no fucking sense. What would be the reason? What did you do to make this nigga so mad? That'll kill all of y'all for what? Let me know. And it was like, you doing it for his wife, or is this the wife stuff? And I said, well, what y'all do to Lexi? Now, how does Lexi play a part in this? Anna was looking at the wall and looking at the pictures and stuff on the wall, and it was Lexi's family cabin, and it was Lexi's family photo, and you see her parents, her sister, and you see another person that was in that photo, but they had it covered up. Like, I don't want to look at this bitch no more, okay? And I said, oh, who the fuck is that? Girl, she pulled the paper back. It was Catherine. Catherine Alexia Kelly. Alexia Kelly. I said, bitch, what the fuck? And then she started looking at all these other pictures, and you see her progression where she goes from being this chunky kid, overweight teenager, to losing the weight, running marathons, getting makeovers. You know, she was like kind of like a brunette, reddish blonde brunette, to turning into this platinum blonde Lacey that we saw that's on the news. That's small, skinny, you know, I guess you could say desirable in white people land. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Talk about a fucking makeover, bitch. When they put that shit up in there, I said, what? What? Bitch. I did not see that shit coming. But girl, when they gave her backstory and when Boston started figuring out who the fuck Lexi was and that Catherine and Lexi was the same people, she was like, oh my God, bitch, you killed your sister. And I said, now hold the fuck up. They do a flashback to when they was kids, when they was still teenagers, they finna get on the sailboat. Now, bitch, when they said they was finna get on the boat, I really thought it was like a big yacht or some shit. No, it was an actual fucking little sailboat. I said, now, hold on. Whether she was a big one or not, I would have said absolutely fuck not, because that boat is a little bit too small. I don't think okay? No. I would have looked at that shit and said absolutely the fuck not. Even if I could have been a size 2 and I would have said no. Okay? But the sister was being, you know, siblings rib at each other, okay? We joke on each other. We call each other names and all that shit. Because me and my sister, we still call each other fat bitches. Man, we both fat, okay? Like, we do all of that shit. And at one point, you know, it becomes bullying to a point when you get it from a sibling that is skinnier than you, that getting a lot more, I guess, considered prettier and skinnier and the ideal weight than the ideal, I guess, child and person that the parents probably want. But Catherine was daddy's girl, okay? And he said daddy's little princess, you know? But at the same time, you could tell Andrea, you know, she was bullying her and kept on making fun of her weight and all of that stuff. And, you know, you ain't gonna make me feel bad about my weight. Gonna say, why are you doing this to yourself? Look at what you're doing to yourself, okay? You need to stop, lay off the junk food, bitch. And I was just like, girl, we're about to go on a boat. Do you want me to push you overboard? Like, bitch, can you swim? And then has the nerve to go out there to the boat and then to scream back there and tell her, could you get my inhaler off the counter? I said, oh, so you got asthma. I would have said, no, bitch, you come get it yourself. Now, truth be told, she should have came back and got it herself, because that's not my responsibility. And you just insulted me and you want me to bring your inhaler? Bitch, no shade, I would have left it on the counter too, okay? I ain't trying to kill you, but if you know, but see, Lexi, aka Catherine, she took the inhaler, opened that bitch up, and made sure that bitch was empty. She slowly walked about the house, squirting that bitch. Slowly walked to the goddamn boat and squirted that bitch. By the time she got to the boat, that hole was empty. She gave it to Lexi. To Andrea. Andrea wound up having an asthma attack on the goddamn sailboat. Andrea suffocated on that sailboat because wasn't nothing in that albuterol and all that shit. It was gone out of that inhaler. I said, God damn it. God damn it. Bitch. Lexi come downstairs in the house, present day. Her and Anna get into it. Lexi was really trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, but then eventually they started boxing. They started going at it real bad. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, after they done locked Richard up. Because they was, truth be told, Richard, you ain't had shit to do with this, but you was acting like you had something to do with it. It was real creepy. It was real like, I'm finna kill you, put you in a dungeon, bitch. Okay, that's how he was acting. And Anna did what she had to do, okay? That situational awareness came up. She was aware of her environment. She was like, this is not safe. First of all, I'm a black woman. These two white people, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's a cabin in the wood. I should never gotten in this car with this man. And now I'm out here, ain't no phone reception. The least I could do is lock this bitch up some way, somehow, and beat this bitch ass. Okay, yeah. And she had a gun. She done used up all her bullets trying to scare his ass. Her and Lexi going back and forth at each other. And, I said Jack had knocked Priya out because Priya had thought Jack had something to do with it, okay? And so, she wasn't trying to hear him. She pulled the gun out on him, so he had to knock her ass out so that he could go over there because Anna had called him. All right. And he could hear the shit that was going on the phone. He get down there to the cabin, bitch. While Anna and Lexi was over there tussling till the point where Anna fucking tooth came out. You know you gotta be over when you pour that shit out your mouth your own damn self, bitch. Mind you, the beginning of the first episode, after she did all that shit, Anna had she had an abscess up in her goddamn mouth. So either I think she needed her tooth pulled or a root canal, right? Bitch, been there, done that. Okay, same thing. And so they had gave her some Novocaine and fixed that shit to, or whatever. So that was the tooth that they fucked up. That was the tooth that was already fucked up. And Lexi hit her ass in the face. That bitch was bleeding. She just poured that bitch out. I said, motherfucker, what? Threw that shit on the floor and said, challenge. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, goddamn, knock that bitch over the pool table, knock that bitch over the table, glass flying everywhere. They both just laying on the floor. Lexi see her gun and she go over there and she try to get it. Mind you, there's no bullets in that bitch, right? So at this point, Priya done figured out that, oh no, we don't need to go after Jack. We gotta go after Lexi, okay? Because she done found out that Catherine is Lexi, okay? So now we trying to come after her. Bitch, she came just at the nick of time when she thought that Lexi was about to shoot Anna. And she popped that bitch dead in the forehead. Because she ain't know it wasn't no bullets up in that gun, okay? So now Lexi dead. Jack there with Anna, he came and got her and all that stuff and woo woo woo. So they tried to make it seem like we thinking because Catherine was the one that was sexually assaulted, she was trying to get back. And that's why she was going around killing all of them. Okay, cool. Come to find out, 1 year later, Jack and Anna still together. She's pregnant. I had a problem with the fact that I said, damn, bitch, she's a pregnant woman and y'all got her up there reporting the news, standing up. Standing up. She look a good 7 months. Standing up. Where's the chairs? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, so they're cool. They're back together. Jack is now the guardian, I guess, of his niece, Zoe's, his sister Zoe's child. Because she's no longer here. And so they go out to their for the weekend. They're going to Anna's mama's house. Mama just so happens to be a little bit better. She's very cognizant. Now mind you, when Zoe got killed, they saw her and we saw her in the back of the ambulance because Jack had to come out there and get her again. And this is before he found out that she got killed because we saw Alice up in the ambulance and she, again, was bucket ass naked. I said, oh, what the fuck is going on? I said, Alex did that shit. I was like, I don't know how she did it, but I just feel like she did that shit. But then again, I was so confused. I was like, oh, it can't be her because it just will require strength. And if she's mentally disabled, she ain't gonna be able to do that shit, is she? Girl, I started second guessing myself throughout this whole fucking show because I was so pissed on it being the mama that did it. And I was like, no, but maybe it really was Lexi that did this because that really would make sense. Like, come on. Up until we get to Alice's house, we see Jack out there with Alice and the niece and all that stuff. And Anna goes up into the bedroom, putting the clothes up or whatever. She sees a letter on her dresser, addressed to her. So she comes down to the kitchen and she starts reading the letter. Bitch, at the beginning of the show, Anna is reading something in her voice. The same thing that Anna was reading at the beginning, this is what she was reading in the letter, and the voice changed from Anna to her mother's voice. Come to find out, she was feeling, and she did kind of just become, closed off into herself after what happened to the baby. And when Anna left, in order to, because Anna was all she had, in order to keep her in her life, she looked at all of the recordings that she had because Anna wanted to become a news reporter and she used to record herself. And so she'll look at 5 or 10 minutes of these tapes because she had a whole box full of tapes. And she was like, after 6 months, she done looked at everything except for this one tape that was blank. And so she put it in and come to find out it was the tape of the 16th birthday. And she saw exactly what happened. And she saw that it was her daughter that got sexually assaulted. Okay, cool. She also saw that Lexi left. She just left her there. But she saw that Rachel and Helen and Zoe were the ones sitting on the couch watching it and just letting it go on and just not giving a fucking care, right? And the way that she was looking and she was so incensed, it was a silent, they played their fucking part. They played their part. Oh my goodness, bitch. I said yes. Yes. And she started formulating the plan right then and there. And she was just, when you're so enraged and you're so hurt, when you find out something has happened to your child and you just was not there to protect them and you feel that guilt because you had no idea. You had no idea, so you feel like you failed them. So I'm pretty sure she was going through all of those emotions and that made her fucking snap. She said she used to go out there to that woods and look out for Rachel, hoping that her ass would be out there one day. Girl, because she knew that the bitch was going to be out there fucking around because that's all she do. She was a hoe. And then she said one day I come out there and bitch, not only did I see her, she was out there with Jack. Okay? But then I know that you saw Jack too. I know that you saw Jack. And so at that moment that she saw you, okay, cool. Anna left. Bitch, at this moment, that's when Miss Alice went up there after she done flattened that bitch tires. She walked up in there that rain and she stabbed that bitch up. Stabbed that bitch up. Killed her ass. And then stripped down naked to walk in the middle of the streets to make it seem like she was out here just walking crazy or some shit, bitch. Okay? Then she did the shit to Helen because she knew how to get up into that school because she used to work at that school as the janitor, bitch. So she knew how to get up into that bitch, okay? Because they was trying to make it seem like Anna was the suspect for Helen's death because y'all all knew how to get up into the school and you were supposed to meet up with Helen and right before you was supposed to meet up with Helen and she dies and all this stuff and you was here early and boo 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 boo. I said Priya was on the case, bitch. Priya was a good detective. I ain't even gonna hold you though. Even though she kind of was a little bit wrong, but she was doing the investigation, okay? She was trying to put 2 and 2 together. Sometimes it was coming out to 3.5. It was coming out to 3.5 and it finally came 4. And I said, okay, girl, I'll give you that. But, yeah, girl, Alice got up in there and she killed Helen. Okay? Next thing you know, she also went up in there and she killed Zoe, bitch. And you know what? Hey, it is what the fuck it is. Now, Rachel didn't have no goddamn fingernails, right? Bitch, when they went to Lexi's house and they got Anna out of Lexi's house after that whole situation went down, Alice was going to frame Lexi, right? And see, what was supposed to happen was, well, she did frame her because she was supposed to go down as the killer, all right? And it was going, she had the Rachel's fingernails up in there. She had the murder weapon up in there and all that stuff. Okay, cool. But at the same time, Lexi was supposed to go to jail. But what wound up happening is Boston came in and shot that bitch in the head. And so she wasn't supposed to die, but she was supposed to go to jail, okay? But instead of her going to jail, her husband went to jail. Okay, that's just what it was, even though he ain't do shit. They ain't do shit. And you know what? I say that, bitch, the way that Tessa played that part at the end, the emotions when she realized her mother was admitting that she was the murderer of these people, and how scared she was looking, how confused she was looking, the realization of what the fuck was going on, how heartbreaking she was, and the tears that was silently coming out of her eyes as she was reading that. And then when it got to the very fucking end, when that disbelief sat, this heartbreak, oh my God, I can't believe this, turned in from that expression, and then the smile came into her face like, oh, bitch, I'm your daughter, you're my mom. And listen, I was a little shocked. But, bitch, I get it. I get it. We here. I said, yes, bitch. Don't be mad at her. Don't be mad at her. Because you was stewing and you wanted that shit to happen, though. You wanted that shit. Just look at the interaction. You just wanted that shit to happen. But, your mama was just bold enough to do it. And she was bold enough to do it, smart enough to do it, and to get away with it. This shit, talk about perfect murders. That was a perfect fucking plan, bitch. A perfect fucking plan. Oh my God. His and hers was so good. It was so good. I ain't got no nose, bitch. Everybody played their parts. Everybody played their parts, including Rachel dead ass, okay? Everybody played the... Bitch, I wanted to fucking hit the shit out of Helen. Like, yo, you talking too fucking greasy, bitch. Okay? That bob was activated a little bit too much. Have y'all been seeing that on TikTok? Trying to activate my bob. That's what she was giving it. She was irking me. Just irking me too much. And I was like, you doing way too much, bitch. You still full of yourself. You look good in the suit. You know, she was dressing. Mama was dressing. But bitch, calm that shit the fuck down, okay? Alice calmed it down for her ass permanently. But yeah, y'all tell me how y'all felt about the show. It was really good. 10 out of 10 for me. 10 out of 10 for me. I ain't got no notes. Okay? But yeah. Y'all put y'all things down there. Give me something else to watch. And we'll come back later. Okay? Like I said, if you watch Love After Lockup, that'll be up tomorrow. Or like I said, Saturday. It'll be up sometime Saturday. I had forgot that Power came on tonight until I seen somebody say it, and it's the finale. And you know what I did? I went and looked it up, and I saw an article on it to see a little summary of what happened, and basically nothing. Anyway, I'm disappointed. Like, or whatever. I'll see y'all later. I'm tired. I was up early. Oh, yeah, bitch. No, the reason why I'm so tired, though, for real, I went to sleep after 2 o'clock in the morning because I was up till like, I probably went to sleep almost 3 o'clock in the morning, but I was up till like 2. I took a shower around 1:45. And then before that, I was looking at The Pit. I had binge watched the whole first season yesterday, and I had finished it at 1:30 something in the morning. Yes, I couldn't stop. Them last three episodes had me fucking crying in here. I mean, boo-hooing, bitch. Oh my God, it was so good. I said, what the fuck was I at? So I'm caught up on the whole show now, season 2 and everything. That was a really good watch. And so therefore I went to bed late and woke up early in the morning. I woke up at 7:30, to go to work. Barely had any caffeine today, so yeah. I ain't even take no nap when I came home. I came home and did my exercise and ate a little something because I hadn't eaten all day. And Lord have mercy. I took a little break And then I came on here and did this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired. So everything else, them 2 reviews, look for them Saturday. Sometime Saturday. And then Real Housewives of Atlanta, Potomac, Sunday for sure. Right? They're not skipping. Yeah, and then Monday is Married to Medicine. So that's what you guys got to look forward to. Thank you for rocking with me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And if you are off on Martin Luther King Monday, enjoy your day off. Okay? And I'll see y'all later. Peace.